Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you another video. Alright, so on my way to somewhere down in LA near Adams Street. Try to see if there's some spots over there, 2 of them. Figured that the guy who wanted me to put the $500 deposit after telling him I couldn't come down there yesterday, he was like, oh, everybody's trying to rush and get this spot, so you're gonna need to do a $500 deposit if you want to hold it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I appreciate your interest in responding to me. I think I'll be in the area tomorrow. So, if, I'm not asking you to hold on to it for me or nothing like that, but I just can't put down that. But I'm gonna be in the area tomorrow anyway, so if you still got it around, I'll just come around. And of course, he texted me this morning and say, hey, you still interested? Of course I'm still interested. And no, I'm not gonna give you that $500 deposit because I wanted to put the scheduling off to the next day. I don't know what kind of games people are running on young people, but I think that's really what it comes down to. They're used to people not being very intelligent on this level. They're used to people being very young on this level. So they just like a $500 deposit, want you to sign the lease before it's even time for you to see the unit. It's like, how am I sign damn lease before I see the unit? It's like, yo, y'all did it to the right person though, because I want to talk about these different things and warn everybody else who you may otherwise get over on it with. You ain't gonna get over on none of the people that follow me when doing this. You don't want to sign anything till you see what it is that you're looking at. You don't want to sign anything until you read everything. And if you have a lawyer, you probably want them to look over everything. That is the reality of it. And so don't let nobody tell you, sign this before you read it. Sign that before you see it. Oh man, no. And if I have to put off a schedule appointment, it shouldn't cost me $500 under no circumstance, especially when it's something as simple as I just talked to you, said, when are you available? You said every day. And I tell you, okay, I'll see you in a couple hours. And then I say, you know what? I got an appointment around the corner from you that I've scheduled for tomorrow. So instead of changing that appointment, I'll just come see you at the same time that I scheduled them an hour beforehand. And he's like, well, since the demand is so high, it's gonna cost you $500. I'm like, I'll see you tomorrow. Completely ignore that nonsense. Like, yeah, right. How about I don't? And then we will consider what comes about tomorrow when you see me. And that's pretty much what it's gonna be. So I'm headed there now. I didn't change my interest. I didn't say nothing at all. But at the end of the day, that game did not work, bro. And I know how you get down based on how you did that. So now that's how that goes. I know how you get down. So when I get down there, I know you're gonna try to run some more game. You didn't already show me your hand. See, this type of stuff is like, people gotta be careful running game too soon. Now I know you're a shyster before I even get there. So it's like I already got that in mind as I weigh whether my other options are. And so that type of stuff, like, yeah, man, okay, that's cool. But look, I got 2 places to see today and another application I'm gonna put in. So not to say that I got all the options in the world, but I certainly don't have to settle for some scamming, whatever may be possible that doesn't feel right. So that's what I'm telling all of y'all, man. Beggars can't be choosers, but beggars can't be stupid either. You don't take the first thing offered to you just because somebody knows you're in a desperate situation. Turn that desperation into desperation to do things correctly rather than do things quickly. Because you don't have a large margin for error, you can't afford to take risk. And that's exactly how you got to look at snatching the first thing you see without vetting it, signing something, and you ain't done all the homework or reading up on it or having a lawyer look over it or whatever. That's what that is. You're not effectively getting anything done correctly, and therefore it's still going to be just as bad if you would have been late. So that's what I want to tell everybody. Learn from my mistakes. I made plenty of them. I should be able to tell you at least what not to do based on what it is I did wrong. So I'll tell you that. In the meantime, headed to make this appointment. Gonna make sure I put my best foot forward, do all the different things necessary to win the process if possible. And in doing so, give ourselves the best chance. That's all you can do. Give yourself the best chance of getting something done. And so I'm thankful that I had yesterday to relax. I said all the prayers I needed to say to try to recoup my energy because I was really, really ill yesterday. I ain't gonna even hold you. It wasn't like I felt all that bad. It was just no energy. It was as if I didn't have the energy that I normally have. And I think it comes from just going back outside and dealing with everybody's germs too. When you isolate the way that I did, eat as healthy as I did, and then have a week where you're eating bad meals, running around using your energy in different ways that doesn't allow you to keep up with your workouts, yeah, it can make you sick. Especially if you're as strict about it as I am. Make you a little sick, but I'm not really worried about it, because at the end of the day, what I've also come to understand is that I can get back in shape quickly based on the habits that I have. Based on the habits that I have, I can get back in shape rather quickly. So that's what I tell myself. Now, what I'm trying to figure out is which train station is closer. Both of them are far away, like really far away, more than 10 blocks either direction. Both of them. That's the problem. And I know that either one of them have a connection that I need to take to go in one direction or another, which makes it absolutely even. I just can't seem to figure out exactly the distance, which is longer, which is shorter. That away to the K line, or that away to the green line. I don't remember which one's long, but they both long as hell. I think this way is closer. I'm gonna go this way. It's still 10, 11 blocks, but that is a little further, I believe. So I'm gonna trust my instincts and go this way and handle it that way. Try to get to the train station or the green line. I think it's closer, but I don't know. It is easy for me to walk these distances. That's not even the problem. And to be honest with you, I know I should be, conserving time to a degree, but I'm not really worried about that as all either. If anything, I'm honestly thinking about the energy of it. The more I walk in the sunlight, I would think I'm gonna get more energy, but it seems like I'll be wiped out the days after, just getting wiped out. And so I don't know if that has to do with me not being consistent with certain things, but I'm trying to get that energy back, man. I know I'm older, so I should be used to, the body changing in the wrong direction. At this point, getting used to that, but I'm not. I'm somebody who tries to take care of himself. I don't like having nights like yesterday, days like yesterday, where it felt like I didn't have nothing, while I was dragging. Felt unhealthy. So, yeah, I got to contact that doctor. I still haven't done that, by the way. I keep forgetting to do that when I have the opportunity to. So I'm going to take that as seriously as possible and get it done. Hopefully this will be a reminder to do so. And, feeling pretty good, man. High spirits, nevertheless. I do feel rejuvenated in comparison to yesterday. Basically 100%. So, just ready to meet whoever I gotta meet. Say prayers that'll prepare me to meet the urgency of the moment, as well as be, myself, shine as I'm supposed to, or whatever, how you view that. Just put my best foot forward or whatever. I'm ready to move away from this area, to be honest with you. I'm good. I think I got everything I needed from this place. I think this place got everything it needed from me. And now it's about finding what's the next hat to wear, and not bringing the same ways that I took from the old place and bringing it to this new situation. Life has to change for the better, and I need to organically want that, as well as be willing to do the work that allow that to be the case. And do so in faith, knowing that I still find myself in a position for things to get better quickly, very quickly. And that's what the Lord wants me to always keep in mind, is that while I'm on this particular grind, at any time, poof, good things can happen. And so that is what I'm now walking with the understanding of, trying to let that be the truth in my mind as I move forward and invest in myself, invest in my, building myself out of this hole, and doing whatever it takes to do that may not necessarily be all that comfortable to me. If those are the type of situations that the Lord has for me to have, knowing that it's not absolutely no path to it ending right away and being better, does make for a better life if you view it the proper way. Me, I wasn't viewing it that way in my last situation. For reasons that have been taken care of, I would imagine, just by being more productive outside of that, having hobbies and all these other things that I'm into that I've built, just makes for a better overall outlook on myself, to where I'm not in that same mindset about what else I'm doing being worthless or being so unhappy. You see what I'm saying? It's like, if you ain't got nothing else going on, then of course what is going wrong is going to feel worse. But if you're doing multiple things that can help you feel good about living, then one or two things not working out doesn't take away from the overall vision of your life. And I think that's what I'm saying. I've incorporated a lot of other stuff to where if I don't never get this or that, we still got goals within what it is I'm working on, to where I'm happy to get up the next day and work on those goals. So that's the difference. That is the difference between where I'm at now, where I was 3 years ago, or 2 years ago when I was at that job hating life and wanting things to get better, but not seeing a path toward that happening. It was as simple as knowing for a fact that there wasn't nothing else. There was nothing else. And so that's what I'm thankful is out of my life now. There's more to it. I love myself. I love where I'm at. I love what I'm working on in my little projects and stuff. And now it's just about preserving my living situation so I can pick up where I left off before I burnt myself out, while holding on to the things I gained after healing from that burnout. And keeping that sweet balance with the Holy Spirit in my life, from which I've been cultivating that relationship throughout that process of healing as well. That process of overcoming that burnout. And getting closer to God and all of that makes for an even better circumstance in which to kind of work. And so that's what I'm saying to you guys. It's a lot of work that I've put in to how I feel right now, despite these circumstances being bad, and a lot of uncertainty over the last couple of weeks. Put a lot into my spirit, a lot into my mindset, to be able to at least embrace tough times, at least embrace a higher power that can help my mindset with what I'm dealing with, or whatever it is, the circumstances themselves, however it go, and just move forward. So that's what I've hopefully worked into the equation, regardless if things are great or if things are struggle or whatever. It's that conditioning intention, in your mindset, that you are going to change it to be whatever it needs to be so you can be okay. The organic change of the mindset, but making sure that you keep all of the good stuff and let go of the bad. Like, for example, once you reach flight or flight, if you let go of the God variable, then you're going to be doing things that hurt others in regards to that. You don't need to be that way. Now, if you believe in God, you're going to make calculated decisions that don't make you desperate or make you feel as if you got to act in a desperate way that doesn't take certain measures into account. No different than being too desperate to fully look over everything you've signed, just like we said earlier. It's that same desperation that the Lord wants me to discipline against in every area possible, by feeling the reality of my circumstances and respecting it, but applying that God variable to give me that balance. To say, nah, that ain't the best opportunity for me. Even though I need this bad, I may need this situation, but I don't need it in that form. Let me wait for another version of it to come my way that's attached to a much better, favorable path. You know what I'm saying? I may be starving right now, but me robbing that person probably going to end with me losing my life, not being able to get back to my family in ways that allow me to feed them, leaving my son to have to be in the same situation to feed the family because I'm not around. It's like, why would I allow myself to even go down a path where that's a variable if the whole purpose is to preserve self? I'm trying to eat. If I'm trying to eat, I can't eat away at my own skin. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's when it really comes down to trying to figure out what it is you're trying to do and how best to make it happen. If you're going to cut your nose off to spite your own damn face, you're going to be the one in pain. And so that's what it is that we're saying here. That's the logic of what it is I'm trying to bring to the table as it pertains to not allowing your desperation to back you in the circumstances that ultimately make you somebody that you can't stand, somebody that don't even deserve to live, and you trying to preserve your life. You know what I mean? That's what so many people do when they're hungry. They don't have that God variable. They tell them, just wait a few couple seconds longer. Consider this moment a fast and just wait for a minute while the Lord gives you an opportunity that doesn't have your damnation attached to you being full. And that's what it is that I'm saying here. Sometimes we allow our desperation to turn us into somebody that don't deserve to eat no more. How does that work? We need to eat. But now we're no longer deserving. At some point in time, you just got to say, man, God variables in place. He'll help me get through it. God variables in place, he'll help me find a way. You know, if the God variables in place, he'll help me endure just another second. You know, whatever it takes for that blessing to manifest, so that you don't have to take it upon yourself to be a curse and making things worse. So that's what I'm saying in my mind as I walk down this street trying to get somewhere. Hopefully I get there on time. But honestly, it isn't. I didn't even set up a time for it. I just told him I'd be down there during the day. So it really don't matter. But at the end of the day, man, trying to put my best foot forward. You guys know what I'm used to. You know where my mind would normally be at. And still I find myself out here conditioned as if I never had that problem. And it ain't because I don't have that problem. It's just because the Lord is real. And he knows what he needs for me to be able to do right now. It has nothing to do with what I normally do. What normally comes comfortable to me can't be comfortable if I'm going to succeed in whatever it is I need to do. He had to give me something that's not there normally in order to make it so that I'm ready. And he did that. That's why I'm out here. It's the only reason why I'm out here. And I think everybody that knows of my channel should have followed enough of these therapy sessions to know that. I'd be in the house, man. If they would have gave me 60 days instead of 10, I'd have stayed in the house for about 50 of those days. We know that because I would have been so conditioned, it would have had no urgency to force me out of that conditioning myself, which is always the problem. It's convincing myself without urgency to meet whatever it is that would otherwise stress me out. And if that urgency's in place, then I'm going to move to preserve self. I'm going to move to preserve self over my anxieties, over my fear. And the balance there is to not allow it to get me to a place where, again, I'm doing things that worsen my energy to preserve self. Doing the whole, I'm in the water drowning, let me drown the person who's trying to save me stuff. That ain't never necessary, as I've mentioned before. So it's like, I'm trying to help myself not only be disciplined enough to preserve life, but to deserve life in that same breath. And then from there, know the balance between what is worth saving yourself over versus what is dying in regards to someone else. What's worth dying for, what's worth standing on, who's worth, however that's supposed to go. I leave that up to the Most High and hope that he just meets me in the moment for whatever it is he wants me to do. And I'll be ready. You know, not that I am ready, that he make it so that I will be when it matters most. And so that's where I'm at every day as I continue to go through some of these difficulties, realizing that I'm far from ready. But the more I go through these difficulties, the more I realize far from ready, very far from it. So as I get there closer to it, I just say, praise God, keep pushing. That's all I can do. You know, just praise God and keep pushing and hold no fear. That's the thing. A lot of times fear controls the situation so much, you don't even know what the heck is your threat and what it is that ultimately is backing you into a corner by way of that fear. If I'm afraid to go here, I'm afraid to go here, I'm afraid to go there, guess where I'm stuck? In place. Man, that's the point. You got to let the fear out the way so you can have more range of motion. A lot of times that's what I used to do. Just be so fearful that I wouldn't let myself get out of places that I really had no business being in for the betterment of my very own safety and self. If you're so fearful, isn't the idea of the fear try to protect you from what it is that's threatening you? But if the fear is going to back you into spaces that are unsafe for you, you know what I'm saying? You got to do away with the fear. That's what it is you should be fearing. It's the cowardice inside that would otherwise back you into actually dangerous circumstances rather than circumstances that are perceived as dangerous because you need to receive more strength. You need to be in a position to understand a little better so that you can respect doing things a certain way as it should be respected. The right way as it should be respected. And if you don't have that perspective, then you're going to treat everything like it's a game and you're going back into really actual scary circumstances that you weren't wise enough to be afraid of because you were too busy afraid of other things that didn't actually have any way of hurting you. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that goes. That's how that goes, friends. Sometimes it's not the thing that we fear the most that's going to end up being our undoing. It's the fear that backs us into what will ultimately be our undoing. And so that's why we need the God variable to help us understand that. And that self-awareness that he can provide us, help us realize what's best for us, what position we should be in, how to fit where we need to be, how to not try to force whatever it is that would keep you off balance. That God variable will remind you that you need it to help understand what it is that you cannot possibly understand. Your blind spots and various different things that are going to just be in place regardless of how much you think you're aware of and what it is you think you control. And so that's what I have to say, Try to keep that variable in place. Love thyself and let the Lord help you figure out what the best energy is for yourself. That way, you're not backed into a corner trying to be God and be mistaken. Trying to anticipate what's going to be in your blind spot. You can't see it. Trying to anticipate what's coming from the above when your focus is straight ahead or what's below. Nah, it's going to be things that you just can't be on top of, and because of it, that variable is important. That variable is necessary. And so I hope I was able to reach everybody with this particular message. And I hope I was able to reach myself as well. And remember that balance is necessary, just like we were talking about with grieving. It's okay to grieve over the person you love, but don't let it destroy you. Don't let that grief help you forget that you're mourning over somebody that deserved your best. That wanted to see you succeed. If you love them so much, you know they did. And if they didn't, then you have your head misplaced in the wrong place. You put your heart in someone that didn't love you enough to not want to see you suffer when they weren't here. And I don't think anybody thinks of that of their loved ones, but sometimes we psych ourselves into thinking that's something they would be acceptable of. They want you to heal. If they were worth what it is we know they were, then there's no way they want us to destroy ourselves over their passion. There's no way. So let that feeling bring you to healing and accept that healing is the way for you. It ain't nothing else to accept. But that healing is the way forward for you. A lot of people tell you, accept that they gone. That ain't what you got to accept. What you got to accept is that healing is a good thing and that you should want that for yourself. That's all it is. Healing is a good thing, and I should want it for me. Then everything else that has to do with me accepting this and doing that and making it, getting the cries out and getting out that frustration and overcoming with all that stuff comes after I decide that I'm tired of agonizing over something. As long as I haven't made that decision and I try to take steps that end that agony, chances are I'm gonna fall back into that agony because I ain't made the decision to stop hurting. You gotta want that for yourself, and you gotta know why you should want that for yourself, especially as it pertains to bereavement. They didn't want you to suffer. They would not have wanted you to suffer. They brought love into your life, which is why you miss them. It's no reason to allow any self-destructive energies to be a part of that in any way. That's love there. Why would it destroy you? And that's what I'm there to tell everybody. It's like it comes to an agreement. It's not even about anything other than that agreement. You need that agreement in your head to tell yourself to stop being in pain over stuff like that. You need to be able to say, I'm ready to heal. I'm in a position to heal. Want that. It's good enough for me. And then you start seeing the process of it actually happen. As otherwise, I'm telling you, you take them steps. Maybe you think the right thing is going to get it done. You go back to work as soon as they pass. Boom, just keep going. You're going to, man, I'm telling you, it's going to hit you years later, 2 years, 3 years later. You're like, damn. Like all of it that you didn't deal with. And it's because you didn't actually take the decision to make the decision to actually choose healing. I choose that. I want, I'm sick of agonizing. I'm sick of crying myself to sleep. I'm sick of doing all of the stuff that makes it so that this is worse for me. They didn't want that. I don't want that. That ain't what's good for us. For the people that's still here, for the people watching, for the person I want to be tomorrow, for the circumstances I want to be ready for, all of that is a deterrent to my best self. And it's okay that I'm hurting, but I do not want to forget in the process of that hurting is not something to want, accept, or desire, or to keep. We're letting it go. When we're ready, when we've had enough. Don't force that. Force your healing only if you feel the need to force your healing. That's organic, and that will go with the energy you want. Otherwise, if you're going against the grain, you're not ready, don't force anything in these situations. It's not your fault to feel nothing. It's not your responsibility to not feel none of that. You just got to make a decision you want to heal, and then you'll be ready for it. And that is it. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.